What's up, everybody? We're a couple of nightmares. I'm Alec Miller, aka Phoenix.
I'm Moyra.
Today we're going to be reading
dating app stories that will never make you want to date again.
Damn, that sounds crazy. We didn't meet on a dating app, so I don't have experience using dating apps like that.
I'm telling you, dating apps is not it.
Most of my friends have met people on dating apps though. And I've heard like horror stories of like them meeting people and then them not looking exactly like
catfish stories.
Catfish.
Yeah. All of the stories that we're reading will be linked down below in the description if you're interested in reading them on your own. My friend told me this horrific story yesterday, and it has to be the scariest thing I have ever heard. So I felt like sharing it to remind everyone to stay safe and cautious. This happened to a friend of our friend not too long ago. So this girl matched with a guy on Tinder and went on a couple of dates with him. On the first 2 dates, they went for coffee and on walks outside. She really liked him, thought he was friendly, good looking, etc., and thought they clicked. For the 3rd date, the guy suggested she should come over to his place and have some wine. Whoa.
That sounds normal.
After
date? A couple of dates.
That's true. Third date. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't sound bad.
That's not that bad.
We can't jump to conclusions because we know some fucked up shit happened. Like, like we gotta be fair here, and that sounds normal. That's true.
We have to be fair. She agreed because she felt safe and comfortable enough to do this at this point. So the time comes and she goes over to his place and he pours her a glass of wine. Normal. Things seem to go well. They joke around and enjoy a nice talk. After a while, she starts feeling funny. Now, luckily, this girl had already been roofied once before, so she immediately recognizes the effects once they kick in.
That has to be the only time in which you can say ever that luckily you've been roofied before.
Oh yeah, literally.
Like that's
if
the only
it ever
time you can
happens
use
to you
that.
again. Yeah,
that's the only time you can use that.
Other than that,
second of all, I will preface this. Going over to somebody's house or going over to somebody's whatever, backyard barbecue, whatever, is fine for them to pour you anything. As long as you watch them pour it.
Yes.
You should always watch people pour.
And you should never leave your cup alone.
And you should never leave it. It doesn't matter how much you trust this person. If you, whatever, you should always watch people pour and your drinks. Unless it's like your dad, your mom, your wife, your husband, your whatever. You should always watch people pour your drinks.
Yes, always. She was extremely clever in this situation and pretended she was feeling fine. She told them as cheerfully and energetically as possible that she was quickly going to go use the toilet, as it seemed like nothing was off. Once she was in the toilet, she locked the door and immediately called the police. She told them she was drugged, locked in the toilet, and that they needed to come get her out of here. That's smart.
That's smart.
That's really smart.
That is smart.
Because most people, they're like, oh, I feel woozy. And it's like, the person who's trying to get them is like, yes. Pretty soon after she passes out, she awakes by the police, but is still very drugged, and so kind of slides in and out of consciousness. All she remembers is the police putting a bag over her head as they carry her out of there.
A bag over her head? That's not the police. That's homeboy and his friends. A bag over your head? The police never puts a bag over your head.
That's very rare. That's very
Why
rare.
would the police? Who are you? The president?
Not the president.
Why would they have to put a bag over your head?
Not yet. Or it had to be bad. I don't know. She was saved. A few days later, she is asked to come down to the police station.
Why'd they put the bag over homegirl's head?
After doing this...
Fucking lost with that.
After doing this, she asked whether she remembers the police putting a bag over her head correctly, or if it was just imagined due to the drugs, or what was up with that. They tell her that they needed to put a bag over her head and get her out of there because what he had prepared and set up for her in the living room. This sends shivers down my spine.
Oh, so that she wouldn't freak out?
She wouldn't freak out.
Yo, that's some...
Because imagine being in a drug state and then seeing some crazy...
You gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yes, and then you're gonna freak out. Yes.
Wow.
So that's why they put the bag over her head. So that, yes, you wouldn't see it.
That's sick. What did homeboy have?
Doesn't say.
No, that's fucked up.
No, it doesn't say. I'm dead ass.
That's fucked up.
The guy ended up in jail, and to this day, she doesn't know what he had in mind for her. But it's clear it was very messed up and an incredibly scary situation that could have ended horribly. Please, 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 always let someone know when you plan on going on a Tinder date. Or even if you feel safe, even if it's not your first date. Always ask a friend to call and check up on you during and after to let someone know you're safe.
Yo.
That is scary. First of all, the girl was already roofied before. And now you're roofied and someone has something planned for you. Boy.
That shit makes you not trust people at all.
Oh, heck no.
Like you can't, like you really just can't trust people.
No,
because these dating apps, it's not like they check a criminal history. And then you have people that pull shit off like this that have like the cleanest record, but that's because they've never been caught. So just because somebody has a non-criminal record, it doesn't mean that they're not a criminal. That's
Next
dark.
story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Trigger warning. This story contains some self-harm. Title is 1 year ago, I tried a dating app and I'll never date anyone now.
Damn. This shit fucked her up, huh? Or him.
1 year ago, when I just turned 18, I decided to download a dating app. I have been single my entire life and thought the only way for me to meet the man of my dreams would be through an app like that, because I don't go outside of my house a lot. The only times I do, it's for school. And I'm pretty sure if you'd ask about me to one of my classmates, they'd say, who? So I gave myself a pretty nice profile, and that's when I got my first match. Ethan. 6'2", 29, big blue eyes, dark brown hair, pretty fit, cute face, the man of my dream. He texted me first, and after a few chats, I knew he was the one. Apparently, he never had a girlfriend, and he had an awesome personality. We went on our first date.
Wait, quick question. Is that a red flag?
It can be.
Is that a red flag?
It can be.
It is? It can be?
It can be.
Okay.
It can because think about it. As a female, like you're looking for red flags constantly. And now you're like, you've never had a girlfriend, but you have a nice personality. Like, it's not like what's wrong with you, but like, what's going on? Like, can we talk about it? Like, it's sort of like that. Like,
okay.
what's going on?
Are you a hermit crab? Or are you a psychopath?
Yes, exactly. We went on our first date at this fine food place, and we had a really good time. He made me laugh, smile, and complimented me. The first date. As he was driving me back home, he told me that he had a tendency to rush things, and it seemed too forward. I should tell him right away. It got a bit quiet, so I turned on the radio. Another woman was recently found dead in the neighborhood's forest. Her throat had been brutally mutilated, and her feet to her ankles were not found on her corpse. The suspect has yet to be identified. Anyone who would have a lead on him is That's when he turned it off. A bit depressing, he said. After the first date was the second one, and a third one, then a fourth. That's when he asked me to go to his place. Fifth date, okay. I accepted, of course. He had his own apartment, unlike me, still living at my parents' place, so it was just the both of us.
You know what's funny? Cutting off that radio that he did before doesn't seem suspicious in the moment.
No.
But you can view it as something suspicious,
yeah,
right? Because you have some people that just really just don't like hearing shit like that.
Yeah. Some people don't like hearing all that, like,
murder
stuff. Yeah.
Shit.
Well, because it is, I mean, think about it. The radio literally said this person was not found with their ankles or their
feet, basically.
Or their feet. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Who wants to hear? You don't even want to imagine that.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
I would turn
and
it
especially
off too.
And especially if you're out on a date, like unless both of you guys are into like true crime or some shit, it's like
why are we listening?
Why the fuck are we listening to this?
It started off great. Squeezed in his arm, rubbing my feet with a bucket of popcorn on our laps and a good movie playing on the TV. He then grabbed my face and pulled it towards his. I stopped his lips from touching mine by blocking it with my hand.
Shit. She
said nope.
That's diabolical. I feel for homie.
I apologized and told him he was being a bit quick for me. He screamed, threw the bucket of popcorn in my face, smashed the TV remote on the floor, and fell on the ground. What type of 5-year-old stuff is this?
He fell on the ground?
He threw a tantrum. He threw a tantrum.
You know what that sound like? That sound like that episode of iCarly, like where she started dating that guy and then he was like a badass supposedly, and then he had like beanie babies.
Beanie babies.
Beanie babies. It's like you meet the man of your dreams, but he's really the boy of your nightmare.
Which
like,
is
you know,
crazy.
some shit like that. You know, that's fucking crazy.
Nah.
Homeboy threw a whole tantrum.
He threw a tantrum. Like, you are a grown ass man and you have your own place.
Well, hold on. They were 18.
And he was 29.
She's 18.
She's 18.
Yo, I completely missed that part of the story.
Yes. He's 29 and he's throwing the popcorn in her face, smashing the controller.
No, hold on. He's 29 dating an 18-year-old.
Yes. Yes.
Yo, continue with the story, man.
Silence. He starts crying. I messed up again. Now you think I you. You'll make a complaint. I'll get caught. I stop him and I tell him none of this is true. We're back in his car, driving me back home. I watched a few stars showing in the sky without giving him any directions. First of all, why would you be looking at the stars? I would be looking at the frickin' road. I would be like...
Wait, what? Why can't you look up at the stars?
Because he just threw a tantrum in the house. Like, he could just frickin', I don't know, just bat me in the back of the head if I'm looking at the stars.
Oh, I see what you mean.
What the heck? Why no? Why are we looking at the stars?
Like, keep your eyes on the road. Keep your eyes on the suspect and the road.
That's what I was saying.
You out here daydreaming.
He knew the way by heart now. Still, he turned at the wrong intersection. I whispered it. What'd you say now? I repeated a bit louder. Silence. Oh, you're right. There's a dead end street a bit further. I'll turn back there.
No, you'll turn back now, motherfucker.
He turned right, left, straight, right, stopped. Around us were only trees now, and I asked him why he stopped. No gas left. Shit, I'll get the gas in my trunk. Stay still. He unlocked his door and got out. I looked at my phone, 23:35. I texted my mom telling her I'll get back later than I was supposed to. Not delivered. I had no Wi-Fi signal. He's not getting back in the car. I thought about calling roadside assistance, but I didn't know the number, so I couldn't look online. So I called 911. Hello, 911, what's your emergency? I explained to the responder, I have your location. Silence. Miss, lock the doors of your car right now. So I did. Do not let the man you're with get inside the car. Am I clear? I understand.
What the heck is going on?
I did even more.
Wait, hold on. So all she did was call. And they said, yo, lock your doors. Da-da-da-da.
She explained the situation. She told them, like, oh, like, I'm in this
guy's car. We turned the corner. Gas, no.
He's saying there's no gas, but we're in the middle of nowhere. That's when the dispatcher told her, close the doors. Do not let him in.
Whoa.
I did even more when I looked at the driver's side. The tank was full.
Driver's seat? I'm out of there. What? Oh, first of all, you can't look at me and tell me you're out of gas, and I never look over and see for myself. I can't imagine. And I mean, I'm always the driver anyways, right? But I can't imagine if I'm in one of my friends' cars and they go, oh, we're out of gas. Really? And I don't look over and go, really? Like, how did we just run out of gas casually right here? Like, how the fuck were we supposed to get to my house?
Ethan knocked on my side, smiling, but not like he usually did. He tried to open the door. The smile vanished. Police will be with you soon, miss. He looked at my phone and stared in my eyes. He walked away in that forest with a knife and a rope along with him. The dark of the trees soon made him unable to be perceived.
Yo.
He was found later that night. He cut his own throat with that knife he held. Oh. I wonder what I would be right now if I knew the roadside assistance number. I think he killed that other woman.
Yeah.
On the radio.
Yeah.
A rope and a knife.
Whoa.
And we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yo, what? Homeboy was on demon time.
He was, yes.
So he killed himself?
Yes, of course he did. He didn't want to get, he literally said, I'll get caught again. He literally, as he was throwing the tantrum, he said, I'll get caught.
I'll get caught again, yeah. And then you'll be like, oh, I already do.
Yes.
Damn, that's crazy.
Can't be just going on dates like that.
Can't just be going on dates and watching movies and blocking kisses with hands.
Not blocking kisses with hands.
Nah, I feel like that's when homeboy snapped. Like, you could have just pulled your face probably, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Next story, and our last story for the night.
Okay.
My first date in Korea bit my face on the street. Yes.
Who
it's all fun and games.
Who did he or she go on a date with? Buffy the Vampire? Like, you get bit in the face?
I don't know.
The kissing bug.
Shit, the kissing bug? No.
It's like, I think, top 10 deadliest animals in the world or some shit like that.
It's some crazy number. I had been sent to Korea for my university a few years ago. They told me for my major I had to go somewhere in Asia, and my friend really, really talked up Korea for me. I knew nothing about it, but I decided, what the hell? And I embarked on a semester-long trip. I had only had one serious boyfriend in my life, who I had broken up with a few months prior. I also don't enjoy one-night stands and wasn't digging the dudes at the clubs in Seoul. But I still wanted to have some sort of romantic experience, I suppose. So my friend recommended I use this dating app to meet English-speaking Koreans. That way, I can meet someone and experience the actual dating culture. I thought, I'm young, so why not? I mean, why not?
I mean, yeah, that sounds like pretty innocent, right?
You're in a new place. You want to get a new experience. You want to see different things. So it makes sense.
But you're American and you speak English. So you got to take the safest explorative route, which is this.
Which is this, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
I was so eager to have new experiences. Maybe it sounds dumb to try dating in a foreign country, but it worked out for me eventually. Just not the first date. I met him on a dating app after being in Seoul about 3 weeks. Let's call him Tim. I still don't know the culture of the city very well, and I was a bit naive about everything. He eagerly wanted to meet me for a date after talking to me, and he seemed nice. I should have asked more questions, and I should have noticed that he was not giving me many details about himself. Whoa, red flag number 1.
That's a red flag?
Yes.
He was just trying to be mysterious.
No, that's weird. Why are you trying to be mysterious? Are you a celebrity? What the fuck? Cool. What is going on?
Trying to play it cool.
No. Tim was a guy a bit older than me, but claimed he was a college student. I assumed he had done his military time. All men in Korea have to, and return to school.
Really?
Yeah.
All men in Korea have to serve military time?
In most parts of the world, after you graduate high school, you have to serve military. For at least for a year.
Yo, that's wild. Do you get paid for that?
No, I don't think you do. We talked for a bit and decided to meet for a tea date near the school I went to. He wanted to come to my dorm originally to pick me up, but I live in an all-women's dorm and didn't want him to know exactly where I lived.
Smart.
Since we were still strangers.
Smart. Since we're still strangers, I'll just meet you somewhere.
Exactly.
At a mutual location, fam.
Instead, I insisted we meet at the main tower center near the subway. He really didn't like this idea, which looking back was a red flag. But eventually, I insisted. The night of the date, I waited for an hour for this guy.
Sheesh.
An hour?
An hour?
An hour.
On the first date?
You know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say.
Oh, man. That's so unprofessional. Mm-hmm. 1 hour on the first date. You got somebody waiting a whole hour?
A whole hour.
Couldn't have been me. Couldn't have been me.
For those who don't know, I had to wait for like 30 to 45 minutes for this man.
For who?
You.
Me?
Yes.
I wasn't that late.
You were that late.
No, I was not.
Yes, you were that late.
No, it was like 15 minutes. You're exaggerating.
My feet were hurting.
Your feet was hurting?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Back to the story.
Yeah, I was late.
Very late. Tim weirdly claimed he just wanted to make me wait.
All right, bro, I'm going.
Right.
That's that SpongeBob. All
right.
I'm going to head out.
I'm going to head out. I thought he was kidding and messaged him a laughing emoji, assuming he was just lost. When he finally arrived, he was much smaller than I thought, but a man's height has never been something I care much about. He was also quite thin. Maybe I let my guard down because I didn't see him as physically threatening to me, which was a mistake in the end.
It'd be the ones that are not physically. Weren't we just talking about this in a different episode? Like, it'd be the ones that, like, if the girl knew jujitsu or some shit, that he'd fuck them up. It's the ones that, like, the average dude could probably take like over.
Rough up. Yeah.
Rough up. That, like, would be the ones to do something to
a
women.
Woman. Yeah, exactly. It's
people,
crazy.
You know, it's just freaking crazy.
Right off the bat, he was way too touchy with me. He breathed creepy and heavy. I was so off-put by his demeanor. I'm usually very tolerant with different personality types, but this was very odd to me. I had been told that Korean men would be polite and not so touchy on the first date. He was also dressed oddly, like in business attire for a date. But I thought that maybe it's just a Korean thing. Again, I was dumb and knew jack shit about the culture. Then the first thing he said to me was, "You're not as white as I thought you were."
Racist. That sounds like the story of my life. You know, people be like, "Yo, you're not as black as I thought you'd be." And then what's fucking funny is I also get, "You're not as white as I thought you'd be," because most people see my name and then they just assume white. I'm like a white Russian dude. And then I show up and they're like, a black dude with curly hair just showed up. Like,
this is crazy.
Fucking funny. You're not as white and then you're not as black as I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
What do you mean?
What does that even mean? This all right. Anyway.
I can't exist.
I can't. Right? Can I just live?
Can I live?
Can I just live?
Can I breathe? Damn. I thought this was a translator error, but his English was near perfect. So I asked for clarification and he said what I thought he meant. "I thought you would be more white. Your skin is darker than I thought and your eyes aren't as green. Are you pure European?"
I mean, he got a type.
Yeah, that's more than a type.
I just have a type.
No, that's more than that. That's more than a type. That's
European
weird.
Green eyes is the thing that I like.
Oh god,
that's him. That's
it, yeah.
Hey, he said it, not me.
Now I was officially weirded out. First of all, I'm pretty much as white as you can get. I'm Irish and Scandinavian, so white as hell, basically. So the fact that he thought I could possibly be any whiter was funny. And why did he care in the first place? Why does my skin color matter to this guy? And why is he bringing it up? He said about 3 times on the date he wished I had greener eyes. What the fuck?
Dang, bro. All right, then
go
leave.
Home.
Right?
Go home.
Go home.
Go home.
You clearly hate it here.
Clearly don't like it. Leave me alone.
Right? Just dip that.
Go. And every time I would just reply, "Well, maybe my online photos make me look brighter," and brushed it off as him being nervous and trying to start a conversation. Isn't it funny the dumb excuses you make for people when you're panicked? When we arrived at the tea place, I tried to order a basic raspberry tea, and he stopped me and told me I had to have a special tea. I thought this was weird because he wanted to choose my tea for me, but in my head, I brushed it off once again. He really insisted I only drink this type of tea, and I just agreed. These small details would become weirder later. I'm telling you. Okay. Sometimes, like with some people, like the longer you go on a date, the weirder it gets. Like some people just.
You been on a weird date before?
No.
No, never.
I've just heard weird date stories, and like from the stories that I've heard, like sometimes like if it starts out weird. You don't think that
our first date was weird? I'm joking with you.
Our first date was awesome. Stop
I'm
it.
Just joking.
What do you mean?
I'm joking with you. Oh, you didn't think I was a serial killer?
Get out.
Well, I am.
No,
stop.
With the cameras rolling, with
the cameras
crazy.
Hey, this has to get edited.
Stop before I have to tie you down to the chair.
Hey, maybe you're the serial killer in here.
After tea, he asked if we could look around my school. It was dark, but the school is very well lit, so I agreed. And the whole time we walked around, he was randomly stopping and grabbed me for long hugs. At first I let it happen, but then I stopped him and he just kept trying. He kept grabbing me and breathing so hard into my neck. It was awkward. He also would not tell me any personal details about himself, so I asked him so many questions, desperately trying to distract from all the awkward grabbing and trying to get to know him. But he would never tell me anything. He even said at one point, "I'm a mysterious man," like a movie line.
I told you.
Corny.
I told you.
Corny.
That's what didn't I say that? I said that. Didn't I say that? I said that.
He also said something like, "You look so much like my favorite movie character," and I asked who, but he said that I would have to figure it out on my own.
What the fuck, bro?
He finally said, "I want to go to a dark area," and in my head, I screamed, "Hell no." At this point, I wanted the date to be over with as fast as possible. He somehow knew there was a wooded area behind my campus and said we should go there. Oh, hell, how the fuck do you know that?
I mean, you could see it. It's a big wooded area behind the campus.
What if the campus is blocking the big wooded area?
Man, nah, you could tell.
I said no, and that I wanted to stay near the main campus in town, but he kept pushing. Finally, he grabbed my arm and started dragging me there. Oh, hell no. Snatch my arm back and I start running. That's what the fuck you gotta do. You gotta run.
Give me my arm back.
Give me my arm back. He said, I can't let anyone see, and I started to panic. I finally ripped my arm away and just demanded we leave and go back to main campus to the main road immediately. Looking back, I don't know why I didn't ask for help or get angry. Maybe I was scared, but I just began to book it back to the main road and he followed. We ended up in front of a hospital near the center of town and I told him it was time for him to go. I made some excuse and he was pleading with me to stay. I told him we could meet the next day. I lied.
Of course.
And I would message him.
Yeah, lie.
I just wanted to get away at this point, and I was pretending it was all okay so he would leave. Suddenly, he starts leaning in to kiss me, and I immediately think, oh God, no. But it was much worse. Instead, I felt pain in my face. It takes me a second to realize he was biting my face. It was like a dog. I had never felt the sensation before. He leaned his head sideways and bit me on my nose and cheek as hard as he could. Oh my goodness, I have to rub my face.
This guy was going to eat her.
Yes, he was going to.
Not in the good way.
No, he was going to cannibalize her.
In those woods.
Yes, that's what he was going to do. He was going to cannibalize her.
Yo, he is a sick boy. Biting somebody's face. That makes my face itch.
Just thinking about it, it's like, oh, get away from me. I screamed and pushed him away from me. His face looked so freaky and I barely had time to react in words. Instead, I ran up the sidewalk until I saw a convenience store on the right. I ran to the back of the store and bent down and started crying. The man who owned the store started to yell at me, but I couldn't explain my situation. I just begged him in English to let me stay. I ended up having to buy a popsicle stick to be able to stay. God, I wish I had learned some Korean by then. I guess Tim didn't follow me. I peered outside in the store and didn't see him. I texted a friend and waited for them to get me to take me back to my dorm. On the way, I messaged him and basically told him to stay away from me. I told him he was creepy and that he shouldn't bite women. Something along the lines of me calling the police. And then I blocked him. I was so scared to walk around my school after that. I was so afraid that he would somehow find me. I am so thankful I never let him pick me up at my dorm. I called my mom to tell her what happened when suddenly she said, wait, what did he ask you? So then she put some details together and realized that all of these things were weird and it had to do with the 50 Shades of Grey books. Mm-hmm. At first I thought she was being silly and overthinking a bad date. I thought she was joking, but oh God, she was right. She had recently seen the movie or read the books of something and knew the details. The eye color and the way he dressed and the tea he made me drink and said random lines, it all matches with the books and the movies for his dirty little fantasy.
What type of freak bullshit is he on?
First of all,
he's trying to reenact the movie. I
don't know what the fuck he was trying to do.
He basically was trying to reenact the movie.
By biting someone's face?
But I mean, that was probably his reaction at the end because he was like, well,
what?
It's not going the way I thought it was.
Okay, so you're going to bite someone's face like a dog?
I mean, that was his innate reaction to
So
failing.
a man's innate reaction to failing is
biting? To failing at his nasty ass fantasy.
That's freaking disgusting.
That's wild.
My mom thinks he picked me up because I look like the girl in the movies to him. It explains why he was so fixated on my appearance and his whole thing with the biting and trying to dominate me. Even if it wasn't his intention, I later learned that there were a few creeps who seek out foreign girls to dominate and have sex with, like it's a prize. They call it riding the white horse or something along those lines. On a happier note, this bad experience didn't stop me. I eventually met someone else in Korea and we ended up falling in love. We even did the whole long distance thing and now I'm living in Korea, studying and working, hoping to marry soon. So I guess I didn't let the bad creepy guy stop my life. As for Tim, let's not meet. It's been years and I will still kick your ass if I see you. And I won't have to bite.
Yo, she's probably taking self-defense classes. Like, when I see this man, I'm gonna fuck him up.
It's on site.
It's on site for
It's
Tim.
on the site for Tim.
Oh, man.
That's creepy.
Boy, bit Shorty's face.
That, first of all, if someone ever gets as close as to biting your face, that is crazy.
That innately, like, primitively gets me like riled up wanting to fight. Just thinking about somebody biting my face.
Yes. This is my entire thing. This is like the second story in a row when the guy fails at doing something that he wanted to do and he does some tantrum shit. You know who bites people?
Kids.
Babies.
I've been bitten by a kid before.
Yes. Yes. Clearly, these men have no sort of like intelligence. It's just like
no emotional intelligence.
Yes.
That's
like not intelligence in the same
it's emotional intelligence.
Smart, but emotional intelligence. Like when they don't know how to control their emotions or like understand like clearly I failed. Let me leave. Like no.
Clearly I failed. No, yeah, true. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet. As we said before, these stories will be linked in the description down below.
If you guys have your own crazy dating stories, please leave them down below.
Or you can send them directly to our email that will be linked in the description.
Yes, whichever it is. If you don't want to share, we'll keep it anonymous.
Exactly. So until next time, take care.